$4,700. That's what Rachel made last month while working her regular job. Not from her salary. From income streams that required almost zero active hours after she built them. She checked in maybe twice. The money just appeared. 3 years ago, her friend Tyler watched the same YouTube videos Rachel did. He tried 5 different passive income streams. The courses promised mailbox money. The guru showed screenshots. Tyler spent $3,400 getting started across all of them. Last month, he made $43. Total. Across everything. After 3 years of passive income, he's down $3,357 and wondering what he did wrong. So this is not a video about quitting your job in 90 days or making money while you sleep. Tyler was promised both. He got neither. This is a video about the 5 passive income streams that actually generate real money in 2026, what each one costs upfront in time and dollars, and the one hard truth about passive income that every guru hides because it doesn't sell courses. My name is Nick, and I run Finovest Logic because I got tired of passive income advice that's just active income in disguise. Today we're walking through the 5 streams that actually work, the realistic numbers behind each one, and exactly what passive actually means because it's not what you think. Here's the core idea I need you to hold on to: passive income isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the work once and getting paid repeatedly. The streams that promise no work upfront are the exact ones that produce no income later. Every real passive income stream follows the same brutal equation: massive effort concentrated at the beginning, then minimal effort forever after. I call it the passive income paradox. The things that sound the easiest are the hardest to profit from. The things that sound like work are the only ones that actually become passive. 2 promises before we start. 1. I'm going to show you Tyler's actual numbers from all 5 streams he tried, what he spent, what he made, and where each one fell apart. It's worse than you're expecting. 2. There's one income stream on this list that sounds the least passive, requires the most work upfront, and generates the most reliable long-term income with the least ongoing effort. It's number 4, and most people skip it entirely because it doesn't sound like passive income at all. Quick disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is what I've learned watching people build real income streams and watching way more people lose money chasing fake ones. Let's get into it. Here's the one passive income stream that is exactly what it claims to be: dividend investing. You buy shares of companies that pay dividends. Every quarter, they mail you a check or deposit cash in your account. You do absolutely nothing. The money appears. This is real passive income. It's also the slowest, most boring, least exciting version on this entire list. And that's exactly why it works. Here's how the math actually plays out. The average dividend yield on solid, stable dividend-paying stocks is somewhere around 3 to 4% annually. Let's say 3.5% to be conservative. If you invest $10,000 in a diversified portfolio of dividend stocks, you're earning about $350 a year. That's roughly $29 a month. Want $500 per month in dividend income? You need about $171,000 invested. Want $2,000 per month? You need about $685,000. The math is simple and unforgiving: monthly income goal divided by 0.035 equals amount you need invested. This is not a side hustle. This is not beer money from a $500 investment. This is wealth you've already built throwing off income while you sleep. And here's why it actually works: you're not buying a promise. You're buying a piece of a real company that generates real profit and shares it with you. Rachel started dividend investing at 29. She put $300 per month into a dividend-focused index fund for 6 years. By 35, she had about $26,000 invested. At a 3.5% yield, that's $910 a year, roughly $76 per month. Not life-changing. But it's real money she didn't work for, and it grows every single year as she adds more and as companies increase their dividends. Tyler heard dividend investing and thought it sounded slow. He wanted faster returns. So he skipped it entirely and went hunting for the exciting stuff. 3 years later, Rachel's dividend income is now about $95 per month and growing. Tyler's is 0. And here's the part dividend investing gets right that everything else on Tyler's list got wrong: it requires zero ongoing effort. Rachel doesn't manage anything. She doesn't hustle. She doesn't create content or field customer complaints. She owns shares. The companies do the work. She gets paid. The objection I always hear is, "But Nick, 3.5% is terrible. I can make way more with crypto options trading." You can also lose way more. Dividend investing is boring because it's predictable. The companies that have paid dividends for 25 plus years consecutively tend to keep paying them. The excitement you're chasing tends to go to zero. Now, let me be brutally clear about the downside: this only works if you already have capital. If you're starting from $0, dividend investing will not replace your income anytime soon. It's a wealth maintenance and wealth growth strategy, not a build wealth from nothing strategy. But it is genuinely passive. You buy and hold. The income arrives. That's it. Dividend investing is the real deal for people with capital. This next stream is even more passive and requires even less knowledge, but the returns are lower and the excitement is non-existent. This is the income stream nobody puts on YouTube because it doesn't make a good thumbnail. But it's the closest thing to actual free money that exists in finance, high-yield savings accounts, CDS, and Treasury bonds. Right now, in 2026, depending on the rate environment, high-yield savings accounts are paying somewhere in the range of 4 to 5% APY. Treasury bonds are similar depending on duration. This is not speculative. This is not risky. This is the government and FDIC-insured bank saying, "Give us your money, we'll give you 4 to 5% a year, guaranteed." Let's run the math. You put $20,000 in a high-yield savings account at 4.5% APY. You earn $900 a year, $75 per month. You did nothing. You took no risk. The money just grew. Is $75 per month going to change your life? No. But here's what this strategy gets right: it's the emergency fund that pays you. Instead of your emergency savings sitting in a checking account earning 0%, it's earning 4 to 5% while staying completely liquid and accessible. Rachel keeps $15,000 in a high-yield savings account as her emergency fund. At 4.5%, that's about $675 per year, roughly $56 per month. It's not sexy. It's also not zero, which is what most emergency funds earn. Tyler kept his emergency fund in his regular checking account earning 0.01%. Over 3 years, he earned about $4. Rachel earned over $2,000. Same money, same safety, one of them got paid. Here's the caveat everyone needs to hear: this is not where you build wealth. 4 to 5% will barely keep pace with inflation, sometimes not even. This is where you park money you need to keep safe and liquid while earning a little bit instead of nothing. And here's the hidden benefit nobody talks about: this is the only income stream on this entire list that requires literally zero knowledge, zero effort, and zero ongoing maintenance. You open the account. You deposit money. You're done. The income appears monthly. You can't screw it up. Tyler's problem wasn't that he skipped this entirely. It's that he thought it was beneath him. 4%? I'm trying to replace my income, not make pocket change. So he kept his money in checking, earning nothing while chasing 10x returns that never came. Rachel stacked this with dividend investing. The high-yield account holds her emergency fund. The dividend portfolio holds her long-term wealth. Together, she's earning about $130 per month completely passively before we even get to the bigger streams. The objection here is always, "But inflation eats 4%. Sure. Inflation also eats 0%. One of those numbers is bigger than the other. High-yield savings is the floor. Safe, boring, always there. This next stream is the one every real estate guru sells as passive, and it's the biggest lie in the entire industry. Stop for a second. Take a breath. Because this is the income stream that gets sold as passive more than any other, and it's the one that's almost never actually passive. Rental real estate can generate real income. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying it's not passive the way it's sold. Here's the dream version you've been fed: buy a property. Rent it out. Collect checks every month. Mailbox money. Be a landlord. Passive income. Here's the actual version: buy a property. Find tenants. Screen them. Handle maintenance calls at 11 p.m. when the furnace dies. Deal with late rent. Evict the tenant who stops paying. Find new tenants. Repair the damage. Pay property tax. Pay insurance. Hope the roof doesn't need replacing. Repeat forever. That's not passive. That's a second job with better tax benefits. Now, can you make it passive? Yes. Hire a property manager. They'll handle everything for about 8 to 12% of the monthly rent. Now it's passive. It's also way less profitable. Let's do the math on real numbers. You buy a $250,000 rental property. You put 20% down, that's $50,000. You finance the rest. Your mortgage payment is about $1,400 per month. You rent it for $2,000 per month. Looks like $600 per month profit, right? Not even close. Mortgage, $1,400 property tax, $200 per month average insurance, $100 per month maintenance reserve, 1% of property value annually $208 per month property management, 10% $200 per month vacancy, 1 month per year average $167 per month total expenses, $2,275 per month. Rent collected, $2,000 per month. You're losing $275 per month. But Nick, you're building equity. Sure. You're also covering a $275 per month loss out of pocket. And if the tenant trashes the place or the water heater dies, you're covering that too. This is not passive income. This is paying $275 per month to own an asset that might appreciate. Now, the math can work if you buy right, in the right market, with enough cash flow margin. Some people do make real money with rental properties. But it's almost never passive unless you're wealthy enough to absorb the property management fees and still profit. Rachel bought a duplex at 32. She lives in one unit and rents the other. Her tenant's rent covers 60% of her mortgage. It's not passive income. It's a house hacking strategy that lowered her housing costs. She's honest about what it is. Tyler bought a rental property at 30 after watching a guru course. He put $35,000 down. He self-manages to maximize profit. He's had 3 tenants in 3 years. The current one is 2 months behind on rent. He's never once had a month where the income exceeded the expenses plus his time. He's down about $8,000 after accounting for everything. He calls it building equity. It's a liability he has to feed monthly. Here's the truth about rental real estate: it can be a great wealth-building tool. It's almost never passive. If you're willing to treat it like a business, it can work. If you're expecting mailbox money while doing nothing, you're going to get destroyed. The objection is always, but people get rich with real estate. They do. By treating it like a full-time business, not a passive income stream. Real estate is the fake passive income everyone sells. This next stream is the real passive income almost nobody talks about because the upfront work scares people away. Here's the income stream that sounds the least passive, requires the most work upfront, and becomes the most profitable with the least ongoing effort once it's built: digital products. Ebooks. Courses. Templates. Guides. Printables. Software. Anything you create once and sell infinitely with near zero marginal cost. This is the stream Rachel used to get from $130 per month in passive income to $4,700. And here's why it works: you do the work once. You get paid forever. Let me show you her actual numbers because this is where it gets real. Rachel is a graphic designer. 3 years ago, she created a template pack for small business owners: Instagram templates, logo layouts, business card designs. It took her about 80 hours of work over 2 months. She listed it on Etsy and her own website for $47. Month 1, 3 sales, $141. Month 6, 12 sales, $564. Year 1 total, 94 sales, $4,418. Year 2, 287 sales, $13,489. Year 3, 340 sales, $15,980. Total time invested after the initial 80 hours, maybe 3 to 4 hours a month answering customer emails and updating the templates once a year. She's made over $33,000 from 80 hours of work. That's $412 per hour, and it's still selling. That's passive income. Then she made a second product. Then a third. Now she's got 5 digital products. Some sell better than others. Combined, they bring in about $4,200 per month on average with maybe 10 hours of total maintenance per month. Most months, she does nothing. Tyler tried this too. He made an ebook. He spent 6 hours writing 20 pages on productivity hacks. He charged $9. He sold it to 4 people, all friends. He made $36. He quit because it didn't work. Here's the difference. Rachel identified a real problem her audience had. Small businesses need design templates but can't afford a designer. She built a real solution. She priced it appropriately. She marketed it where her audience actually was. Tyler wrote generic advice, slapped it in a PDF, and expected it to sell itself. And here's the brutal truth about digital products: the upfront work is significant. Most people quit before they see a single dollar. You're building something with no guaranteed payoff. It might sell. It might not. That uncertainty kills most attempts. But if you build something people actually need and you put it in front of them, the math is unbeatable. Create once, sell forever. No inventory. No shipping. No marginal cost. Pure profit after the initial work. Rachel's template pack still sells for years later. She hasn't updated it in 6 months. It made $1,100 last month. That's passive. The objection is always, but I don't have a skill to teach. You don't need to teach. You need to solve a problem. Rachel didn't teach design. She sold the finished designs. Whatever you know how to do that others don't, there's a digital product version of it. Here's the hard part: this requires you to be good at something and willing to package it. Most people aren't willing to do the 80 hours of work up front with no promise it'll pay off. That's exactly why it works for the people who do. Digital products are the highest ceiling passive income for regular people. But they require creation skills. This last stream requires 0 skills, 0 creativity, and works for literally everyone. This is the income stream nobody clicks on because it sounds like retirement advice, not passive income. But it's the most reliable, most scalable, most proven passive wealth building tool that exists: index fund investing. But Nick, that's not income. That's just investing. It becomes income the second you start pulling from it. And here's why it belongs on this list: it's the only stream that works whether you're smart, dumb, creative, or boring. You don't need to pick stocks. You don't need to analyze companies. You don't need to create anything. You just buy the entire market, hold it, and let it grow. Here's the math. The S&P 500 has returned about 10% annually on average over the last 50+ years. Let's be conservative and call it 8% after inflation. If you invest $500 per month for 20 years at 8% average annual return, you end up with about $294,000. At that point, using the 4% rule, you can pull about $11,760 per year, roughly $980 per month, indefinitely without depleting the principal. That's passive income. You built the pile with consistent contributions. Now the pile throws off cash forever. Rachel invests $650 per month into a total market index fund. She's been doing it for 10 years. She's got about $105,000. She's not pulling from it yet. But in another 10 years, it'll be around $350,000. At that point, she can pull $1,166 per month passively forever if she wants. Combined with her dividend portfolio, her digital products, and her high-yield savings, she's building a machine that will eventually produce $6,000 plus per month without her showing up to a job. Tyler tried to beat the market. He day traded. He chased meme stocks. He bought crypto at the top. Over 3 years, he's down 22% while the market is up 35%. He turned $12,000 into $9,360. Rachel turned $12,000 into $18,700 doing nothing but buying and holding. Here's the truth about index investing as passive income. It's the slowest, most boring, least sexy strategy on this list. It's also the only one that's mathematically certain to work if you just don't quit. You're not going to replace your income in 6 months. You're going to build a pile over 10, 20, 30 years that eventually becomes too big to ignore. And here's the part that makes this genuinely passive: you automate it and forget it exists. Set up automatic contributions. Rebalance once a year. That's it. You're done. The income appears decades later. The objection is always, but 20 years is forever. It is. It's also happening whether you invest or not. You're going to be 20 years older either way. The only question is whether you'll have $300,000 when you get there or nothing. Index fund investing is passive income on a delay. You do the boring work now, consistent contributions, ignoring the noise, and the income arrives later, permanently. Remember Tyler's 5 streams? Let me show you where his $3,400 in startup costs actually went and what he made back. Stream 1. Amazon FBA, sold as passive, definitely not. Startup cost, $2,100. Inventory, course, fees, time invested, 120 hours over 6 months. Total income after fees and returns, $340 net, minus $1,760. Stream 2. Affiliate marketing blog, passive after it's built, except he never built it. Startup cost, $180. Domain, hosting, theme, time invested, 8 hours, wrote 3 blog posts, quit, total income, $0 net, minus $180. Stream 3, print-on-demand t-shirts, completely passive except for the part where nobody buys them. Startup cost, $40. Designs, time invested, 15 hours. Total income, $23. Sold 2 shirts to family, net, minus $17. Stream 4, YouTube automation channel, hired freelancers, got 47 subscribers, gave up. Startup cost, $980. Freelancers for 8 videos, time invested, 25 hours managing freelancers. Total income, $0, never monetized, net, minus $980. Stream 5, cryptocurrency staking, passive until the platform collapsed. Startup cost, $100 in crypto. Time invested, 2 hours. Total income, $3 before the platform shut down, net, minus $97. Tyler's 3-year totals: money spent, $3,400. Time invested, $170 hours. Total income, $366 net. Result, minus $3,034. He chased 5 passive income streams. All of them promised easy money. None of them delivered because he was chasing the promise instead of doing the work. Rachel, meanwhile, built 2 real streams and invested in 2 others. Stream 1, digital products. Time invested, $120 hours upfront, 10 hours per month maintenance. Monthly income, $4,200. Stream 2, dividend portfolio invested, $31,000 over 6 years. Monthly income, $95. Stream 3, high yield savings parked, $15,000 emergency fund. Monthly income, $56. Stream 4, index funds invested, $650 per month for 10 years. Current monthly income, $0, not pulling yet, but building $105,000 in wealth. Rachel's current monthly passive income, $4,351. Next year's projected, $5,200 plus. Same time frame. Tyler chased shortcuts and lost money. Rachel did the actual work and built real income. Here's what nobody tells you about passive income because it doesn't sell: the word passive refers to the maintenance, not the setup. Every real passive income stream requires massive concentrated effort at the beginning. You build the asset, whether it's a digital product, a stock portfolio, or a skill that generates dividends, and then the asset pays you repeatedly for that one-time effort. The streams that promise no work are the ones that produce no income. The streams that require real work upfront are the ones that actually become passive. Tyler wanted the income without the work. So he bought into 5 streams that promised easy money and delivered nothing. Rachel was willing to do 80 hours of hard work upfront on a product that might not sell, and it's now paying her $4,200 per month 3 years later. Here's the ranking of these 5 streams by effort-to-income ratio once they're established. Index fund investing, set and forget, most reliable, slowest to produce income. High-yield savings, literally zero effort, lowest returns. Dividend investing, zero effort after buying, requires capital. Digital products, highest income potential, requires creation skills and upfront work. Rental real estate, can work, almost never truly passive. If you want real passive income in 2026, here's the move: start index fund investing today. Automate $500 per month if you can. This is your foundation. Move your emergency fund to high-yield savings. Free money for doing nothing. Build a dividend portfolio if you have capital. Let it compound. Create one digital product. Solve one problem for one audience. See if it sells. If it does, make another. Skip rental real estate unless you're treating it like a business, not passive income. Tyler's trying again. He sold all the leftover Amazon inventory. He's putting $400 per month into index funds now. He's building a real digital product based on his actual expertise. He's 3 years behind where he could have been, but he finally stopped chasing shortcuts. Rachel's income streams are starting to stack. In 2 more years, her passive income will likely exceed her salary. At that point, she's work optional. Not because she got lucky. Because she built assets that pay her repeatedly for work she did once. Passive income is real. It's just not easy, it's not fast, and it's not what the gurus are selling. Thanks for watching Finovest Logic. If this was helpful, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.